been putting some of the stuff off, but now that I have some parts here, I'm gonna go ahead and do it and install the door weather stripping that goes along the bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead and open the packages and I guess just start putting them in and see if it makes any difference on the glass here and how it shuts, and adjust it if I have to. I got it test fitted. Seems like it's gonna work out just fine. I put some tape just to kind of hold it in place and to make sure that it's not too long or too short. Just make sure you don't stretch it all out. I didn't stretch it, but I started in the back, and then by the time I got to the front of the door, there was too much weather stripping up front, so I had to undo the tape, let it sag, and then just went up, and I made up the difference down here. So now it's in the exact location I want it, and I'm gonna go ahead and put some of this 3M adhesive. I'm gonna start little sections at a time. Since it's pretty warm outside, I don't want this stuff to dry faster than what I can put the stuff on. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some on the door and then put some on the actual weather stripping, let it get tacky, put it in, put the tape over it, and then move on to the next section. So I'm gonna work on it a section at a time so it doesn't dry too fast on me. Now that I got the outer belt line weather strip installed, the window doesn't have as much play in it as before, so that's nice. I'm gonna move on to the one that goes inside, and this one's gonna be a little bit more challenging. For one, I need to clean up this metal, and then two, this one's actually stapled on there. See the staples? So I don't know what kind of staples I'm gonna use. Maybe if they come out without getting broken, I can reuse them. I'm guessing. I know I don't have a strong enough staple to put these on here, so first I'm gonna take it off, clean it up, and maybe paint it. And the new one comes with that stainless or aluminum trim piece, so that's nice. So let's go ahead and get this cleaned up and see how it looks and see what we have to do to get it installed. So the plan of saving the staples is not gonna work. I don't really want to bend this metal, which I kind of did already. So I think the best thing to do is just go ahead and use a Dremel, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut them, and then I can pry it a lot easier without bending or damaging the metal. So let's go ahead and get that done. I got it all out. So far, this is probably the hardest part versus that, which I thought that was going to be difficult, but I think this one takes it. So I need to finish taking the staples out and then sand it down a little bit and figure out what color I'm going to paint it. I'm guessing it's going to be black, but I don't know if it's a flat black or a glossy black or maybe even the color that's in the dash. So I'm gonna do some research for that, but before that I'll go ahead and clean it up and then have it ready for paint. And then once I paint it, I'll go ahead and install. So let's go ahead and get this thing cleaned up some and at least try to get it primed or something so it doesn't keep rusting. It's a trim for inside the car. So I painted it and it looks quite nice. It looks brand new. I don't know if this is the factory finish. It's kind of like a matte black. I can always paint over this. It's not a big deal. Do not want them red. I think it's gonna look a little tacky if it's red because I plan to have a black interior. So who knows? Maybe I'll switch my mind later on. I have these little caps here that are for the lock. Went ahead and polished them. So I'm gonna pop it in. And what my plan is for the back, I got some just regular staples. And the piece that I got for, you know, the window kind of rides in this thing here, it has some holes drilled in it, but they do not match these holes here, which I didn't think that they would. So what I'm planning on doing, because I do not want to drill more holes on this, because that'll be the easiest way to do it. So I'm thinking I'm gonna put a piece of tape on here and then kind of punch out where the holes are at, then transfer this to the piece that rides against the glass, and then drill new holes on that because that's a lot more easy to replace than this. So that's the plan. I'm gonna go ahead and mock everything up and see how it looks and then kind of go from there. Okay, so I have the tape on the bottom side of the lip. You can see the orange. And the reason why I have it there is because my plan is to transfer it to the back side of this weather strip. It can be exactly on the right side because if I were to stick it on the top side, when I transfer it, the holes are not gonna line up. So we'll see how that goes. I'm either gonna look really smart or really dumb. We'll see which one I am here in a little bit. So I might take my little pick and just kind of punch through the holes. And then once I do that, I'll transfer it to here and get my drill and the drill bit and start drilling some holes and see how it looks. So I have this tape here kind of to line it up where it's gonna live, where it's gonna look good. So hopefully all this stuff kind of pays off towards the end. Goes right there. And it looks really sharp. So let's go ahead and start punching some holes on here and see how it's gonna look or if it's even gonna work. Okay. Point of no return. Let's see if it lines up. It's hard to tell. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some staples and see. It actually turned out really nice. It worked perfectly. So now I'm gonna repeat it on the other piece. And these staples are just regular staples. We'll see how long they last. They're not as thick as the original ones. I'll show you what I used. I used the 3/8 heavy duty staples. I'm sure you can get them anywhere. I just kind of separated them one by one and put them in by hand. And then I used a screwdriver to fold them over, a flathead screwdriver. And before I did that, I went ahead and tapped it with the hammer that I have here. I used the flat side, and they worked really nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and repeat what I did with this one onto this one, and we'll see how it looks afterwards, both of them side by side, because this one looks really, really sharp. Went ahead and polished the little pieces too. So can't wait to get it in the car once I actually get the door panels. Got the car out early this morning, and what my plan is to degrease the entire bottom. Some of the bottom has a lot of oil. You can't really see it, mainly around that area there. Just old oil from back in the day. I think the power steering or something was leaking, and whenever you would drive it, it would just kind of slide all the way down the transmission tunnel. So from right there on, it's pretty caked on. So I'm just gonna degrease it so I can get ready to spray some undercoating, like in this area where I added the new floor pan. And once I do that, then I can cut first I'll cut the old exhaust, and I got a new one, so I'm trying to get it prepped for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and degrease it and get started. Got done degreasing the bottom, or most of it anyway. I'm sure it's not perfect, and I plan to go through it again, but it's a lot cleaner. Around the transmission tunnel, there's still a lot of old grease and oil that I have to remove, but overall is what I was expecting it to look like. I'll probably scrape the ones that are loose by hand and just go over it with the new stuff later on. But for now, my plan is to remove that exhaust so I can get the new one on. But before that, I have to jack it up. So I'm gonna go ahead and start doing that. So that was a little stressful, but I got the car up on these stands. Just didn't want to risk dropping the car and messing up some of the new paint and stuff that I've done to it. But this is gonna make it a lot easier to get underneath and check things, get the exhaust out. I have a lot of room, so I'm gonna crawl underneath there and try to get that exhaust off. All right, so it's a lot easier to crawl underneath here now that the car is up in the air. But I need to get these brackets off. There's two of them on the manifold, so they look pretty rusted, and instead of trying to mess with it with some PB blaster or stuff like that, I'm just gonna go ahead and heat it up and see if it comes out, so kind of minimize the risk of them breaking in there. So let's go ahead and get the fire going. I got all of them loose and out. That one came completely out right there. So it seems like it's hung up on something on the back. So let's go to the back of the car and undo whatever needs to be undoing back there so I can get this ugly rusted pipe out. All right, so what the plan is gonna be is to just go ahead and cut it with the Sawzall. I'll go ahead and cut right there on each side of the mufflers. And my new exhaust is supposed to have some new hardware to mount the exhaust, but I want to leave these here just for now, just in case. But I'm gonna go ahead and cut it with the Sawzall and get this thing out so I can see what else I need to clean underneath here. Because before I put the exhaust, I need to scrape some of the old undercoating and spray it with the new, especially around this area here because it has nothing. So let's go ahead and start. Got that nasty piece of junk out. It's all bent up, has holes everywhere. So yeah, it was about time. So what I'm gonna put on, it's pretty stock to what it had when it came out of the factory. For now, that's what I'm gonna go back with. And then once I drive it for a little bit, I'll decide what I want to do once I modify the engine and all that stuff. But for now, I'm just gonna put the that exhaust on. It should be a little bit louder, a little bit better quality. Now I'm gonna try to get that transmission tunnel cleaned out. It's not terrible. I think the oil helped the floor pans not to rust completely. Only that one had a hole. This one had a few little minor holes that I fixed up. That wasn't a big deal. But I want to get some of this undercoating off so I can go back with the new stuff. So I'm gonna get a brush, some more degreaser, and a lot of elbow grease, and try to clean this up so I can get it resprayed and bolt up the new exhaust. So after hours and hours of scraping with a scraper, I got most of the undercoating done or taken off. This part here was pretty much penetrated with oil, so that was fairly easy to get off. Still not easy, but easier than the dry stuff. So now I'm just gonna spray it down with some more degreaser and maybe power wash it to get some of the loose stuff off, and then I'll see what else needs to be done, if anything. But I feel like I'm pretty much done. My next step would be to put some kind of rust encapsulator or something to treat the surface rust with, and then spray that new undercoating and I'm thinking I probably don't have enough. But I'll do what I can, at least just to get the exhaust on and get that part done anyway. Got the power washing done. It's clean. Got all the oil, if not most of the oil, out. My next step is gonna be to just spray some rust encapsulator on the rust spots to prevent it from getting any worse. And then I want to spray some undercoating back on, because that's what this car had before. So I'll show you what I'm using in a little bit. The stuff that I am going to put looks pretty close to what the original stuff had. That's what I put around the wheel wells by the trunk. So that's what I'm going to go with in the front, in the bottom here as well. So I'll probably wait for it to dry a little bit longer, and then I'll go ahead and do that. But meanwhile, I'll go ahead and show you the exhaust that I have. All right. Looks really nice. There's one. Probably some hardware. It's probably the muffler that I just dropped on the floor. Here it is. I'll lay it out here and see what it looks like all laid out. All mocked up. Can't wait to get it in the car. Came with all the hardware. Well, I actually ordered it with the hardware. A lot better than the stuff that it has now. I just left it there to see where it's gonna go. I may have to move some things around. I came with all the little clamps. It's really nice compared to the old one. I'm sure I'll look like this eventually. Hopefully not, but this looks really, really nice. So I need to cut these to length, get them right where I want them. And I got this from a guy, I think his name was Dave, and his shop is Precision Auto of Eastford. He does a really, really good job. The bottom of these are flattened out to give it some clearance when you're driving. And I got him to build that for me for the fuel injection that I want to put in the car. Everything looks nice. Don't know how it's gonna look from the back. I would like to have some tips, kind of like the factory stuff did, and maybe come out a little bit. So I'll have to mess with that later on. But for now, that's a huge improvement. And it's gonna sound amazing, I'm sure. So let's get back to work. Didn't quite get done what I wanted to, but I got a lot done. Here's the underside. I sprayed that undercoating on there. I brushed the entire thing, or actually I used the wire wheel. So that took a long time, and then I hand scraped everything, so I didn't really want to film that because that's kind of just boring. But this turned out really good. I sprayed it with some rust encapsulator, and then I went ahead and sprayed it once it dried with the this stuff right here. So this is a pretty close texture to what it had from factory. And I'm really happy the way it came out. Got everything from the bottom. So all I have to do now is let it dry so I can install the exhaust. And hopefully I can do that if I have some time tomorrow. But for now, I am going to call it. I'll go take a shower and hopefully get some dinner. Here's the side here. Nice and clean. So we'll start back up tomorrow and see what the engine sounds like with the new exhaust. So here we are, next day in the morning. I am going to try to install that exhaust, and hopefully I can figure out how it goes. Should be pretty easy. So we're gonna try to put the exhaust on now. If everything goes according to plan, then it should go fairly easy. But since nothing goes according to plan, we'll see what happens. Here's the underside of the car. Pretty much eat off of it. Didn't mess with the drive shaft because I don't think there was a sense to do it. Gonna be replacing the rear end eventually and the transmission, so this is gonna come out, and I was thinking I'll do it then, but I still haven't really decided. So for now, let's go on to the exhaust. So it fits up pretty nice. I'm gonna loosely button it up just for test fitting, and then once I test fit everything, then I'll come back and tighten everything real nice. This stud here came off, so we're gonna go ahead and put a new one. And I was gonna replace all of them, but I don't want to risk breaking one of them, and then it'll be a lot harder than I originally thought. So I'm just gonna replace this one because eventually I'm considering getting some headers. This is just to get by, so I may just go that route, and then if I have to later on, I'll replace all of them. So right now I'm just trying to figure out where to cut this thing at. And it looks like it's going to be pretty long. And it's pretty short in the back. So I am going to try to figure this out and then start cutting. Alright, so I got it all mocked up. I just had some these two pipes switched around. Come off the back, and this pipe here says to be cut to size, but it looks like it's gonna fit. I can't cut it too much because of the arch is gonna start hitting here. So I'm guessing it's just gonna have to stay like this. Good thing about not welding it is that if it doesn't work out, I can come back down here, take it apart, cut it, and put it back on. So for now, I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm I'm gonna go check it out from the back. Of course, this needs to be raised a little bit. It's hanging down. It's just supported by the axle here and the bolts up there in the front. But it's coming along. It looks a lot nicer than the old rusty stuff. Really nice. Got the exhaust on, finally. It looks clean. There's a few little touch-ups that I have to do on the undercoating. But overall, it was a fairly easy install. The one on the passenger side is the one they gave me a little fit because it was a little tight to the floorboard. So I had to tweak it here and there, but it came out okay. Now I have some clearance, and now it's time to hear it running. So it's not too terribly loud, which is fine with me. I just wanted a stock sound. I can change some of the sound if I change the actual mufflers and put headers on it, but it'll get me down the road, and couldn't ask for anything else, so I'm happy with it. All right, so I got that piece that was here. This one here, it kind of looks like a machine gun. So I got some new bolts to replace the old ones. That way this thing doesn't come off on me, because I mean, I wasn't sure exactly how it was held on, but once I took it off, I saw that it needed some new bolts. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that on real quick before this thing comes off. Got the exhaust on, so that's good, and I need to get that done first before I do the fuel injection, which I am getting ready to do now. And this is what I'm going with, the Holley Sniper EFI. Got the chrome one, or polished aluminum. I thought would be a little bit better because I can just polish it and make it look nice versus the black one. Eventually it will start chipping or scratching, so decided to go with the polished aluminum instead. So now I'm getting ready to remove the old carburetor setup that it had and install this. So hopefully that goes fairly smooth. I'm sure I'll run into some problems here and there. So I'm gonna remove that first and then kind of lay the wiring harness that it came with to see where it's gonna go and how it's gonna look, and I'll just go from there. The hardest part, I believe, is probably gonna do with the tank in the rear. I won't be able to move the car, so I'm gonna have to somehow make room to get underneath there and install the tank. And they also have a tank that has the fuel pump already in there. From what I've heard, it's better to go with that versus the old stock gas tank that it had. It can be done. It's just the runs better with the tank that has the pump inside. But I had already gotten the tank, so I'm gonna use what I have. And then if for some reason I'm having problems, then maybe eventually I'll just upgrade to the other tank. So for now, let's remove this old carburetor and see how this new EFI kit looks. And just like that, the old carburetor is out. Time to clean up and install the, or mock up the new fuel injection. Fits there nicely. Makes the engine look like crap, but eventually I'll get that fixed too. Yeah, it looks really good. So now let's try to figure out the wiring and see how that goes.